The process of being on the jury last year was brilliant. It was my first time. For me as an agency leader, it was amazing and enlightening to be on the inside of that process, to understand the conversations that go on, to understand how the agencies are judged, aside from the criteria that sits on the entry, because that before had always been my only proxy into this world. So it was an amazing process, and obviously, to reconnect with industry colleagues and friends, some of which I've worked with, some of which I've never worked with before, was a real privilege. In terms of the themes and how it shifted from one year to the next, I think last year's theme was probably quite reflective of where we found ourselves, not only as an industry but as a society, starting to emerge from the COVID pandemic. And I think, as we have emerged as a society and I suppose as a people, it's right for us to start to set our sights well beyond that of just mere survival, right? I think that as an industry, we've always been drivers of change and drivers of growth, or at least we've always said we are. And I think it's about time that we really started to think that way. We really started to live with the kind of optimism that I think clients come to agencies for. So I think that the theme this year that really does, talk to bounce back, does set I suppose it pushes the ambition further out than that of mere survival. So, for me, operating within our agency group specifically, returning to a sense of optimism in everything that we do, whether that be just energy or how we measure ourselves and how we measure our success, has been fundamental. So, I'm really, really looking forward to crafting our own entry and being the adjudicator of how I believe we're doing, but again, to being on the inside of that room and to seeing how everybody else has done and how they've gone about measuring themselves against that criteria.